Hey y'all, I'm Shayna and I'm back with another review. This is for Married at First Sight, Season 16, Episode 13. We're still in Nashville, and this episode is I'm Not Acting Crazy with You Tonight. Okay, we're gonna find out which couple had that to say. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Oh, but before we do, if you're new here or if you're not, either way, please, if you enjoyed the video, don't hesitate to subscribe to my channel because we are growing over here and I definitely want you to be a part of it. So don't you click off without hitting that subscribe button, liking the video, and commenting. It will help me out a ton. All right. So, for Married at First Sight, if you are new, I do couple by couple. This is the only show I do couple by couple. So we starting with Shaquille and Kirsten. We know Kirsten's a realtor. So she's showing Shaq a home. Kirsten is ready to get a house like yesterday. She like, I'm tired of the apartment life. I don't want to rent no more. And you gonna pay for it. Cause he like, well, I need time with my finances and we just met and I'm still paying off my student loan debt. And she like, listen, look, you need to buy me a house. Like, that can be a push gift because you want me to be pushing out these babies. Like, yeah, I want to be able to say my husband bought me a home. Like, I have the husband now. I'm ready for the house. Let's get into it. But he like, you want me to do it, not we? She said, yeah, you. Straight face, wasn't joking, no hint of laughter, nothing. She wants you to do it. Keep that in mind for later on. So Kirsten takes Shaq. This is the childhood episode where we got to go back and write them silly letters to our younger selves. Ooh, I can't. This episode is so boring. Listen, I fell asleep. So just for that reason alone, the fact that I pushed through because I really like had to force myself with no coffee to stay up and watch this thing. But I digress. So Kirsten takes Shaq to her old childhood home. That's where she lived prior to her parents splitting up. I wonder if like the people that lived there gave the okay, because it was like cars out front. Like, people live there now. Like, did we get an okay for the camera crew to be outside our house? Do we need an okay? Somebody let me know in the comments. So she mentions that her dad was a provider, but her parents divorced when she was 8. She said there was a window and she was like in that front room. The parents slept there, and then me and my brother and my sister all shared a room. We had bunk beds. I said, girl, now you looking at $2.9 million homes with Shaq, but you, your brother, and your sister was all in one room. 2 girls and a boy in one room, sleeping on bunk beds. Don't be acting like you was over there living in Bel Air or something. Like, we what? Okay. So then she doubles down on the fact that her dad was a provider. Like, she won't let up. Like, she got her foot on Shaq's neck with this. Like, my dad was a provider. My dad was a provider. My dad. I get it. I come from a 2-parent household. Now, my parents are divorced now. And my dad he still do things for my mom. And he married somebody else. Because he is a provider. And so I do look for traits of like my father as far as being a provider and, always being there, like being this great man. I understand where she's coming from with wanting that. I always said, listen, I wanted to be a housewife too. At least when my kids were young, I wanted to not work so I can spend time focusing on raising them. No, I didn't get that luxury. And majority of us women don't. Like, we don't. Listen, they don't want to tell us we in a recession, but I think we in a recession. Honey, in the midst of inflation, we people need 2 incomes out here. Like, you almost need it to just survive. Like, we talking about in today's climate, and you want him to do all that, and then we didn't even get to decision day yet. It's been 5 weeks. I don't know, Kirsten. I don't know. But he like, listen, you want all that, but I ain't even meet your dad yet. When am I gonna meet your dad? You speak so highly of this dad that I've never even met. She's talking about how great her dad is. He was this and he was that. Child, your parents broke up for a reason. And they broke up when he was 8. So I'm sure you don't know all the ins and outs of why they got divorced, okay? Maybe he wasn't as great of a provider as you think that he was. Maybe he was a good provider, but he wasn't great in other areas. Maybe, he was tired of carrying all the weight on his back and he got up out of there. There were so many reasons. We don't know what it was. Kirsten admitted the last episode, she don't know what it was neither. So it's like you saying all that, but your parents didn't stay together. Furthermore, if your dad was that great, let me tell you something about my dad. He would have never missed the wedding day. She's talking about he don't really agree with what she doing. Like, he don't like that. It don't matter if my dad don't like it, don't agree with it. He gonna support me. Ain't no way I'm marrying a man he's supposed to like basically let your daughter go to this man, and he don't even come to the wedding to walk you down the aisle. Ain't no way. So yeah, Shaq is like, what's going on here? Are you really in it because you're talking about buying a house? Keisha Knight Pulliam said on that after show, well, that's a good sign because now you're talking about future plans. Yeah, because you don't want to be footing that bill. But it's like, do you really like Shaq, though? I don't know. We'll see. So Kirsten and Shaq meet with his godmother and godsister. They share some pictures. They say, like, he the glue that keep the family together. He be planning family functions and events. They touch on the traumatizing accident that his mom, and siblings went through. The couple, Shaq and Kirsten, they link up with Jasmine and Eris. So we all know these couples here, they need to do like a swap. We need a wife swap. Like, we know that Kirsten probably should have been with Airris, and Jasmine should have been with Shaq. Like, look how easy it was for Shaq and Jasmine to talk and communicate. Jasmine says she has issues with communicating. I ain't sensed no issues with her communicating when she was talking to Shaq. And Airris can't make no eye contact with Jasmine. He can't look her in the eye. He old shifty eyed. But he looked Kirsten in the eye the whole time, didn't even blink. Okay? Yeah, experts, producers, whomever. Y'all dropped the ball here. But they was playing paintball. It was the guys against the girls. Jasmine was happy about it because she was excited to let off some steam. She was ready to get Airris with that paintball, okay? So they split up. Jasmine talks with Shaq. Kirsten talks with Airris. Jasmine shares that things been up and down with Airris. And Shaq is like motivating her and pouring into her and encouraging her. He like, you beautiful. I'm not, not being inappropriate. I'm not coming on to you or nothing like that. I'm just letting you know that you're a beautiful woman. And you don't got to put up with any old thing. Okay. And she like, I am a baddie. I am that girl. That's the most confident I've seen her all season. And how many episodes in? Shaq discusses his issues as far as Kirsten wanting him to provide, not meeting her father. She ain't letting him get away with it. She like, you not meeting the father bothers you. Like, it bothers you. Just say it. It bothers you. Then Kirsten, she's rambling on about how good everything is with Airris. She going to riddles. I don't know what's going on. And he just like, okay, that's good. I'm happy for you. Okay. So later that night, back at home, Shaq confronts Kirsten about wanting to, the whole her wanting to buy him a house and a car, because now she's talking about him buying her a Lamborghini. Now because she was like, well, I was joking. Yeah, you was joking about the car. You was not joking about that house. Kirsten says she knows husbands who bought houses and cars for their wives. And Shaq was like, well, do you want to be married to them? Well, Kirsten is like, you know what? I don't want to talk about this no more. Like, I'm done talking about it. And Shaq said, I'm not. Well, you don't want to talk about it, but you're going to hear what I got to say. I'm talking about it, okay? Because you want to be, you don't want me to be playful, but now you all jokey, he. Nah, I want to talk about it. So what you want to do is off the table. Okay, miss, I'm putting my foot down. She wanted a man that would put his foot down. Here you go. He's stomping with the big dogs, putting down both feet. Okay. I don't know. I'm just like, look, again, I say, I understand wanting a man to provide. Trust me, I want a man that provides as well. And pushing out children is no easy feat. But it is really hard right now with what's going on. If if you pay just the smaller bills and he pays the larger one or something like that, y'all come to some kind of compromise, I can understand. It's not always going to be like that. Even as I seen men who were provided and they lost, you might lose your job. Then you might have to be the one to pick up the slack. So you better make sure y'all get in a house that you can afford if times get rough. That's what marriage is about. It's teamwork. It's not always one-sided. Moving on, we got Jasmine and Eris. Excuse me. Yes, y'all, I still got that cough. Anyway, Jasmine's friend come over. She married, so she like, look, I'm trying to let you know it ain't easy in the beginning. This is a little different though, because it's married at first sight. Like, you got to choose your husband. But Jasmine vents that she didn't think marriage was gonna be this hard. Like, it's ridiculous. It's rough. We in the trenches. But he said she was attracted to him at first, but now he ain't been making her feel secure or nothing, and she's losing that. And it's obvious. And it has been obvious for the past few episodes. Jasmine feels like they're compatible. I don't. Nobody asked me, but I don't. But she needs more from him. I don't think, at this point, I don't really think there's much he can do. Like, I think she's tapped out. Airris takes Jasmine to a card shop. At first I thought he said car, like vroom vroom, but he's talking about card, like baseball cards. And he said that's one way he made friends when he first moved to Nashville. He was like a card collector. If I missed out on some details, y'all, I apologize. I'm telling you, I was trying my hardest to keep my eyes open. I tried my best, and I'm not watching it again. So he said, he doesn't really get attached to things. I made a short about this. He gonna say, cause I talked to my therapist about this. You, Airris, have been going to therapy? It must be one of them text apps or you be texting the therapist. What therapist have you been talking to? Who? Maybe you might need to talk to the pastor at the church or something. Maybe you need to talk to somebody else. I don't know. I couldn't even believe you've been to therapy. I think he absolutely needs to be in therapy to deal with his father's passing. But, he said he doesn't get attached to things, being the only child, and they always moved around. I was a military brat. We moved around a lot when I was younger, and I am too an only child. I don't feel those same sentiments. I don't know. I guess I can see where he's coming from, like why it would be so easy to like detach. Especially, I don't know. I feel like that's why I get attached. Like that's why I have a hard time letting go. Like I have a hard time letting things go or people go. Like I will hold on until there ain't nothing left to hold on to. Like I will hold on forever because it's like if you move around, it's hard to make friends. I want to keep the ones I have. I want to keep the relationships and all that. So yeah. He's giving like the only child to because everybody be like, oh, it's because he's the only child. It's the only child. Every only child ain't like him. Jasmine said, oh wow, I've got nothing. I've got nothing to say. I've got nothing. Okay, I've given enough. I don't care. I said, oh, Jasmine. So people are giving Jasmine a hard time. I see that people are giving her a hard time for being checked out. Talking about, well, now he trying. She said she wanted this, and now she won't even talk to him. The reason why Eris is being vulnerable at this point is because she ain't giving him the time of day. She don't care. That's why he's doing this. If she still was acting like she cared, he wouldn't be telling her nothing. So Eris goes to read his letter to his childhood self. First, he was worried he couldn't read it because of his handwriting. Now, that is something I can agree with him on. I got the worst handwriting. Talking about dads, I write like my dad. My dad writes like a doctor. I can't hardly read these notes that I'm trying to read to y'all. That's why I got to keep my glasses on. But he is sharing about, the trauma he's been through. He's been sharing about it a lot. And I don't want him to stop sharing about it. But it seems like Jasmine does. Like, she seems like she don't want to hear it no more. So she was like, well, I wasn't trying to get all emotional, so I kept it light. Dang, Jasmine. Girl, that was a little, oh, goodness. I mean, I understand being checked out, but we don't gotta be rude, okay? Because he was looking like, yeah, she don't care. So Jasmine talks about bullying in her letter, and when she moved to Memphis, it seemed like childhood trauma has been coming up. I don't think we need a no childhood episode. Not with this much. Childhood trauma has been coming up a lot. She said she was bullied all the way till she got to high school. I think a lot of people have been bullied at some point, right? And y'all let me know, right? I was bullied through elementary school and then like early years of middle school. It don't have this effect on me. Like they act like it happened yesterday. Like these are people in their 30s. Like does it still affect y'all? Like y'all let me know. Is it me? Am I being insensitive? Because I feel like I got bullied in 5th grade. Like, it don't have no effect on me today as a grown woman. Like, it's okay. Like, I don't know. I feel like that's the part of childhood. Like, it happens. You got to defend yourself. Yeah, it can cause you. But to the fact that, like, it comes up every episode. Like, wow. But I don't know. That's why they need to give these people therapy. Personal and couple therapy. Or maybe if we actually saw an expert. I don't know. So Airris has a vulnerable moment later on in the night, like after they go paintballing, where he shares a heartfelt letter that his dad wrote his mom. Seemed like he was absentee for a little bit, but he's expressing that he wanted his family back. Ain't that what they always do? I don't know. I just think his vulnerability might be a little too late. Nicole and Chris. So Nicole takes Chris to a deli, which reminds her of home in NYC. And she shares that she skipped school. She was like, I got to tell you about my past. And we've heard a lot about it already, Nicole. We kind of, with you and your daddy and your friends, I mean, the way they tear you down and throw you under the bus. But she said she skipped school, lied to her parents as a teenager. Girl, having most of us skip school at some point. Like I'm looking like, is it me? Like, are they telling y'all to pour it on real thick? Like, and again, I skipped school in high school. I lied to my parents before as a teenager. What does that got to do? I'm not skipping work now. I might, let me not say that, because people do be calling off sick when they're not really sick and all that. But it's like, those aren't my characteristics. I'm not a liar now because I lied to my parents when I was 15. Like, that's just crazy. So Nicole says she needed attention. Like, growing up, she was getting it, but she's like, now she feels like she needs attention. If you're in a relationship and you want some attention, like, is it, I don't know, like, is it being needy because you want somebody to pay attention to you? Would you want to be in a relationship with somebody ignoring you? You want to be with somebody and feel alone? That's the worst feeling you could ever have. So Chris said he wouldn't be with a woman like how Nicole was. He wouldn't be with a woman like Nicole when she was her younger self, because she reminds him of that ex. He quick to bring up his ex. Like, I got to hear what the ex got to say. It's two sides every story. I got to hear what his ex got to say. Of course you wouldn't be with a woman like Nicole's younger self, because she wasn't a woman. She was a teenage girl. So Nicole's once again self-sabotaging and says she has to tell him everything before decision day. So, but she's scared he'll leave. Child, he can leave before decision day, during decision day, after decision day. You better ask the last, 4 seasons. Ain't none of them together. Even the ones who stayed together on decision day. I mean, if he gonna leave you because you skipped school in high school and lied to your parents when you was 14, he may not, he may not be the one. So during the car ride, Nicole reads Chris' letter to his childhood self. He basically told his younger self to tell his mom to leave her alcoholic boyfriend alone. And I said, well, is this for you or for your mama? Nicole reads her letter, and Chris asks why she didn't find, why she didn't feel worthy of self-love. Like, she didn't feel worthy of self-love and of love, period. He always seemed like he kind of judging her, like, low-key. Like, every time she's telling something about her past or sharing a vulnerable moment, it's like he, is low-key judging her. Or is that just me? Again, I mean, if it's just me, I don't know. But Nicole says she felt shame because of her first relationship. She talks about heartbreak and saying that's always in the back of her mind. It's giving doom and gloom. Moving on, Chris and Nicole in her jean skirt arrive at a paint shop. He talks about his dad being tough on him. His dad owned the paint shop. Him and his siblings worked there at some point or another. But, now he has a better relationship with him. A lot of these couples, is that the theme for the season? Daddy issues or something? I don't know. All the couples should get together and talk about this, and we need to have a therapy session about this, because we need to hone in on these daddy issues so that we can move forward in these relationships. But the first thing they should have got, it was people who actually like each other. Nicole and Chris paint later on. This is where I fell asleep at. Gina and Clint, child, do I even have to? Is there even anything to say? Do I really have? I could wrap it up here. What is Dom and McKinley doing? Because I'm sure they got more going on right now. Clint took Gina to the soccer field. Boring. Gina took Clint to her old hair school because she has to let y'all know that she is a hairdresser and she owns her own salon. Truth is, I'm tired. I don't care. I don't want to hear about nobody's hair no more ever again. Clint had mentioned that he went from being a pilot to working in tech. I want to hear about that. How did that happen? Clint, tell us what you got going on, because we didn't even know you was working. Later on, Gina's staff comes over. How many times do we want to see these people? Where are his friends? I don't want to see them on FaceTime or at the park. Tell a group of them to come over to the house. I'm tired of seeing all her and her employees all the time. That was it. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this episode. the previews and the episodes are not aligned. It's not giving what it's supposed to give. But y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.